there, welcome to the garden. Today is a cleanup staking day. We got a big rainstorm last night, so everything's a little flopped over, and I kind of gave it a little time to see if it was going to recover. And then now I'm going to come in and do some deadheading, do some staking, probably pull out a few things. We're getting to the time of year where stuff starts to basically begin dying, which is kind of crazy, but it's the beginning of August, and by the end of August, by September, we will be putting in fall garden and really switching things over. So I don't think I need to pull out too many things yet, although my squash plants, such a disappointment this year. Those have to come out because they're just looking terrible. They're not putting on any fruit. I think I'm just gonna pull them. I then have to decide if I want to try to do anything in those places before the fall garden. I was going to probably leave some of the space just open and just resting, because basically pretty soon here we're going to be planting for fall. But then I also was thinking, maybe I could do like a late crop of zinnias or something that grows really fast, or even play around with planting, like direct sowing some of my fall greens and just kind of seeing how it goes. So I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to put in their place, but at least today I'm going to get that cleaned up, and then I'm going to stake up some of the stuff that is just falling over. I kind of feel like the whole garden right now is just like flopped over, so we need to come in and basically just get everything standing upright again. So first, let's go look at the squash and get that out of there so that we can just have a clean slate as far as that goes. Patty pan squash. Oh my gosh. So I got one squash off this plant, but as you can see, the boars just really got to it, and so it just is completely dead, although it's trying to fight for life. You can see that it's got a few flowers on there, so we'll pull that out. And then so the millet is still looking really good, a little bit of flopping over on it, so I could just put a stake in here, and I may just do that and tie that up. And then good thing I came over here. Look, you never know when you're gonna find a surprise. Oh my gosh, there's ants all over me. Okay. All right, so got the squash out. Now that I'm looking at this area, it's about noon right now, and you can see it's pretty shaded. So I might try to direct sow maybe some kale, or kind of like a more hardy fall crop in this area, because it's getting a little shade from all the tomatoes, which my daughter and I have been having so much fun harvesting these tomatoes. We come out every day, especially the spoon tomatoes. She loves these. If you have a toddler who likes tomatoes, or even if you want to get them to start liking tomatoes, I recommend the spoon tomatoes. It's such a prolific plant, and we've been having so much fun harvesting. But anyways, this area is pretty shaded, so I do think that I'm going to go ahead and probably plant something for fall in there, because that'll be like the perfect kind of shaded spot. I did this last year with kale. I underplanted some kale in, I think, August as well, and it worked. I was able to get it to grow and not just bolt right away pretty well, as far as planting it this time of year. So I think I might try to do that in there, because I could wait till I do all the fall planting, and I'll probably regret it. Like, once I start planting all the fall crops, I'll wish that I left the space open, but I just hate having any kind of space that is open like that. And then I also went ahead and pulled out the squash that was over here, the 8-ball squash. I'm so disappointed I didn't get a single 8-ball squash off of it, so that was real bummer. But what can you do? The vine borers just totally won this round this year. I've never had that. Usually I get at least a few squash before they take out the plants, and I've never had a plant like not even produce anything. So I only got one patty pan squash out of both of those squash plants. So that was kind of sad. I'm gonna have to reevaluate what I want to do next year. Maybe some like prevention methods or something. I then also moved around. I took out the parsley plant that had completely filled up the container. So I pulled that out. I moved a couple other pots over here, just kind of changing things around. The garden's a little bit in flux right now, so I don't know. I'm kind of just moving. I like move the containers from here over there. They're going to get much more full sun right there, kind of give those pots a little bit of a boost. And I actually threw down some slow release fertilizer. I have been just so kind of neglecting my weekly fertilizer, which I know as a container gardener you need to fertilize weekly, and it's been a crazy summer, so I haven't been doing that. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna do another round of slow release fertilizer. At least then when it's raining and everything, the plants are getting something. If I forget, at least they're getting something. So I moved that. I still need to come in and deadhead the butterfly bush, but I'll get to that a little bit later. It's just starting to get hot right now, so I'm just gonna leave it. The pumpkin on a stick is looking great, so I'm celebrating that success. The zinnias in this container are starting to go crazy and not look as good as I harvested a bunch for cut flowers and really enjoyed it. So I'm trying to think of what I want to do for fall in that window box, because I'll probably pull out those zinnias pretty soon here, just because they're starting to look a little ratty, and obviously I haven't been tying those up. But I did come in and tie up all my queen lime zinnias, so these will all, the shape will get better once they've adjusted. I just pulled them all up, lifted them, but they are so beautiful. This is a queen lime red, queen lime orange, we've got an apricot. Oh, I mean, beautiful. I love them. I love this queen lime orange. This is so pretty. So I just wanted to pull them up a little bit, and they will, as I said, they were growing kind of like almost completely sideways, so they need to kind of get used to their new position. And then I did tie up the eggplants as well. They were really fine. I could have totally left them. They weren't really falling out of the bed at all, but I just wanted to give them like a little bit of a lift. And I'm gonna go ahead and harvest a few of these. These are like a little personal sized, small sized eggplant. For some reason there's ants all over something. So that was, there's ants all over these eggplants. So I don't know why that is, but they are producing tons of eggplants. You can see all the little fruit in there. And I just thought maybe the ants are eating the aphids, or they're eating something. Well, if they're eating the aphids, then I'm very happy to have the ants. But yeah, there's tons of fruit on this eggplant, so that's really cool. Oops, now I've got ants on my hands, just a second. They're not biting ants or anything, so it's not too bad, but just every time I was walking over to the tomatoes, the ants were getting on me, so I figure, you know, if I can just tie them up like that, then they won't be quite as much in my way. I'll see if I have any other eggplants that I need to harvest. But that was good to do. I needed to do that, and there's still plenty of space. So we've got the melons under here. We'll see if I get any melons. I did throw down some fertilizer in the raised bed as well, because I want to give these melons. I've got melons and pumpkins. So hopefully the vine borers stay off of my pumpkins and my melons, and we can get some fruit. I would really love to have some of those honey rock melons and some jappy little pumpkins. Let's look over. I think I saw some blooms. To touch this. But yeah, there's a bunch of flowers along here, so maybe we're gonna get some pumpkins. That would be exciting. The Heliopsis, the black-eyed Susans are like in full bloom right now. They're looking so good. So yeah, these were some good edits. And I don't know, I just kind of opened this space up, which is nice with container gardening. I really like, I change it up all the time, and that's just something that I really enjoy. And now I feel like I have a little bit more space in here. The plants were getting so big this time. I feel really crowded in the garden, and I love the abundance, but sometimes it gets so crowded that it just kind of gets hard to maneuver. So moving around the containers a little bit was good for that. And then I think, yeah, that's just about everything that I'm gonna do today. I ended up cleaning out some of my like storage containers, some water got in one of my storage containers, so I pulled everything out, just let everything dry off, and you know, all of this. But the container pond is looking great. I am loving this new little fountain. This is definitely so fun to have. I really enjoy it. It looks really cute from far away. So that's been good. And yeah, I'm probably going to head inside now and take a peek through some of my seeds and see if, basically see if there's anything that I want to put direct sow over there. I'm thinking the kale, so I'll probably either do dazzling blue or like lanceolato kale. Both of those are pretty hardy kales and maybe can handle a little bit more of the heat. I also need to decide to do what I want to do in the grow bag that I had the 8-ball pepper in. So I actually threw my Russian sage that had been in with the parsley. I threw that in the grow bag. And then now, yeah, I have kind of options because that grow bag will actually be within the cover. So come probably, I don't know, end of September, when it starts to cool down a little bit, maybe mid-October. It kind of takes a while here in Virginia. We're pretty warm. I will put the cover back on the frame of the greenhouse. I had a few people ask what my plan was with that. I'm just waiting until it gets cool and then the cover goes back on, and I will use it for fall winter growing. So whatever I plant in that grow bag, if it's a fall crop, it's going to be under the Unheated Greenhouse cover come winter time. So yeah, I kind of have to think about what would be good for that. I mean, anything really can grow in the Unheated Greenhouse. It's just one of those mini plastic greenhouses. It is unheated, as I said, so it's not like it's going to be warm in there by any means. It will get down to cold temperatures at night. Although I do find that it stays about 10 degrees above the outdoor temperature, so long as I keep it closed at night and as long as we get a sunny day. So there's like some room maybe to use it to kind of like keep plants growing a little longer. That's kind of the plan with that. So I need to do a little thinking. I'm probably gonna go inside, maybe like look at some seeds and just sort of dream a little bit. But I feel I'm happy with today's progress because I just really did need to get those squash pulled out, and I don't like just feeding the boars like that. So hopefully I got them out in time that they're, not just growing my vine boar population. Such a bummer. I love squash. It's one of my favorite summer things to grow and eat, so it is pretty disappointing. But maybe this is kind of like my prime bed as far as sun and growth and everything. As you can see, like the eggplants are doing super well in that bed, so maybe that bed will get the squash next summer. I have to think about that. All right, well anyways, thank you so much for watching and talk to you next time.